What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Wrestling Click, and today we will be reviewing WWE NXT on April 8th, 2020. And what an NXT this was. It kicked off with a six-way women's ladder match for the number one contendership of the Women's NXT Championship. And the new Women's NXT Champion, Charlotte Flair. In this match, it featured Io Shirai, Tegan Knox, Chelsea Green, accompanied by Robert Stone, Mia Yim, Dakota Kai, accompanied by Raquel Gonzalez, and Candice LeRae. And as you all know, the NXT Women's Division always steps up and puts on a phenomenal match. This match was back and forth from the start. Each competitor taking advantage of it being a ladder match and the brutality of it. It was back and forth, with Robert Stone getting involved to help Chelsea Green several times, and also Raquel Gonzalez getting involved several times to help Dakota Kai. But once all was said and done, the winner of this match and the new number one contender and first challenge of the new Women's NXT Champion, Charlotte Flair, is Io Shirai. Next up, we had a promo from Finn Balor building the match between Finn Balor and Walter. They showed a couple of clips of Finn Balor's matches with some of the Imperium. Finn Balor, in his promo, he said that that the title is on borrowed time, and that very soon they will be able to make his next move against Walter. After that, we had a tag team match with the debuting Indus Sher, who is managed by Bivens Enterprises. And we also saw the debut of another tag team, Everrise, which is a Canadian tag team. They were rocking the Canadian pants and all. It was very old school, very cool to see. Haven't seen that in a while. So it was nice to see an international tag team match between Indus Sher and Everrise. But obviously, the size of Indus Sher came into play in this match. And pretty decisively, Indus Sher won their debuting match in NXT. Next up, we had the main event of the evening, which was filmed in a separate location. You could see that the filming of this match was completely different than it typically is filmed on NXT. It was very cinematic, almost like paparazzi style filming. Camera was moving around a lot. The match, sprawled out through the entire area outside the ring, outside of the building. So it was moving around. It was very cinematic. It was you can tell if you watch it that it was filmed a lot differently than the typical NXT. But it was between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. It is said to be the final beat between the Black Heart and the Rebel Heart. This was meant to be the final battle between two former best friends and ultimate rivals. The match sprawled out everywhere outside of the ring. These guys absolutely destroyed one another throughout the entire match. At one point, Tommaso Ciampa ripped up the entire padding of the ring, exposing the wood underneath. They went back and forth outside of the building, on top of one of the NXT production trucks, battling out there. They made their way back into the arena, back into the quote-unquote arena where they were having this, and they proceeded to beat the hell out of each other with a crutch. And it all came down to a moment where Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano were in the ring together, and Candice LeRae came into the building while both Johnny and Ciampa were completely sprawled out into the ring, both completely exhausted from the match. And Candice LeRae looked at Tommaso Ciampa. She looked at Johnny Gargano, pleading for them to stop. She looked at Ciampa, and she said, if you're not going to end this, then I will. She turns around and proceeds to low blow kick her husband, Johnny Gargano, in the sweet spot. And Ciampa was completely surprised, didn't know how to really react to it. His former best friend, ultimate rival, is completely down in the ring. Candice LeRae had left. And out of sorrow, out of empathy of his former best friend, Tommaso Ciampa tried to help him up. He proceeded to say he's sorry to Johnny Gargano. And as he raised Johnny Gargano up off the mat, Candice LeRae came from behind and low blowed in the sweet spot Tommaso Ciampa. And almost instantaneously, Johnny Gargano's eyes lit up as he reached down and pulled out a cup from inside of his pants. So that Candice LeRae low blow did not affect Johnny Gargano at all. It was all a plan to deceive Tommaso Ciampa. He proceeded to grab him and finish him right there on the exposed wood of the ring for the 1, 2, 3. Then there is a chilling scene of Johnny Gargano sitting in the ring against the ropes with a sinister smile grin on his face. How he has just deceived his former best friend and ultimate rival once again with the help of Candice LeRae. But that's not all. Both Candice and Johnny Gargano proceeded to leave the ring and walk outside of the building. And just when you thought it was over, it wasn't. There was somebody sitting out in the parking lot that Johnny and Candice didn't even see. And it was sitting in a black Challenger out in the parking lot as they walked right past the debut of Killer Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux. They did not interfere, talk, or even notice or give any acknowledgement to Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. They were just sitting in the car. Some people may have noticed the scene. Some people may have not. But they were sitting in the car as soon as the Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae had passed a black Dodge Challenger outside of the arena. So what does this mean? We're going to have to wait and see. Is he targeting Gargano? Is he targeting Ciampa? We don't know. But we know that Killer Kross has now arrived in NXT with Scarlett Bordeaux, and he is there to make an impact on top stars immediately, because Johnny and Tommaso Ciampa are two of the biggest stars of NXT and have been for years. So he's coming in and he is wasting no time putting a target on the back of these guys. So we'll have to wait and see what happens next with Killer Kross. But tonight's episode of NXT was absolutely phenomenal. The filming of that match was ridiculous. It wasn't filmed like your regular NXT match. It was very cinematic. These guys absolutely brutalized each other. If you weren't able to see it, make sure you check it out. It was an absolutely great NXT. Yeah. So I will be doing more of these reviews. This is my first one ever. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video. And I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, everyone.